Here's the Deer Park Ranger Station. We're gonna see what they have. Wow, someone puts the flag up every day. And we are gonna see what info they have here. Views are just amazing. Jeez. Alright, that chipmunk is waiting for a handout. He's on the roof looking down, making noise. He's like, feed me! Feed me! It's pretty funny. Alright, we are doing the Obstruction Point Trail. 7.6 miles. So it's going to be 15-mile round trip today. No pets, be alert for cougars. So the beginning of this trail goes downhill. This is going to be awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm very excited. I didn't realize it was 7.6 miles one way to Grand Point. This is going to be a long video today. Wow, so that is looking west. So we talked to some people in the parking lot and the volunteer ranger person that manages the campground. But everyone we talked to in the parking lot, or at least, what, one person, two people, said this is one of the worst roads in the state as far as scariness. Hearts Pass is nothing like this. Way easier. So we are gonna definitely try Hearts Pass this year, hopefully, and camp at the top. Take Zoe with us. Do some hiking from there. Yeah, when we parked, my wife was like, that was so scary. And I told her, I said, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, there were lots of blind spots and I was going really slow. I mean, I felt safe. So here's a new plant we've never seen before. It's bog wintergreen. And we're not even in a bog. So when you start the Obstruction Point Trail, you go down from the parking lot. And then I think you start going up the rest of the way. Hopefully we're almost down. Alright, there is an incredible amount of moss in these trees. But I'm hoping we're on the ridge finally. We've been going up for a long time after our initial down. It was hard. It's almost time to stop for a food break. We went 1.4 miles. Seen 2 people on trail so far. There's only like 10 cars, 12 cars at the trailhead. That's about all that fits. All right, here's a little viewpoint. Trail is very dusty. And we're going up again. Up, up, and up. And the bees are just swarming me today. Not mosquitoes this time, bees. Probably hear them if I don't talk. Oh yeah, you can hear that. You probably see him. There's 2 of them. Alright, this is our first viewpoint, a little off the trail. I think we're looking east, basically, because you can't see the Strait of Juan de Fuca. And if it was clear, you can probably see the Cascade Mountains and Mount Baker, I would imagine. And the bees are just atrocious still. Do not like them. So our high point is 6,600 feet, and I think we started at 5,200 feet. It's hard to believe we're a mile up when we started. All right, I have my bug thing on because the bees. But if you're on a TV, I'm hoping you'll be able to see Port Angeles straight in front through the trees. And you can see the harbor. And there's a couple big ships in it. Then you see the clouds that are over the Strait of Juan de Fuca. But this what we're walking in now. Pretty nice. We only have 700 feet of elevation gain to up, and then it's a little flat. Then we're gonna turn around because then it starts going down, and we will do that side from the parking lot on that side of the trail someday. Clouds are moving in. That would be kind of neat if we got clouds to roll through on our hike and all of a sudden we're in the clouds. We're just not feeling it today though. Tired and wore out. I haven't hiked for a month. That's part of, and we're at like 5,600 feet of elevation. Used to sea level, basically. I think we max out today at 6,200 feet if we go to the top. And keep trying. Alright, here's viewpoint number 2. Or maybe 3. Technically I'm saying 2 because there's a trail that goes off trail. But it's kind of like the first one we were at, except the clouds are different. So Port Angeles is that way. Hopefully we'll get a nice view of it eventually. So that ridge in front of us, I think we drove up on that. I'm not sure if it was this side or the other side, but the road is in that direction. So we think we're going on that ridge up ahead in front of us and above the trees, and you can see Port Angeles. But there's these neat clearings you come to that are really fun. Like you just want to lay down and sleep, pitch a tent. I don't think you're supposed to camp here though. Look at all the flowers, purple flowers. And that's a Canadian jay. We used our phone to identify it. He's visiting. Alright, and that, I wonder if that point is Obstruction Point Peak, the one next to the clearing. Not sure you can see it, but we're not going to the top of that, I don't think. Alright, there's some big giant bird. It looks like giant turkey vultures, I'm wondering. They're hopping around in the grass. We are tired. We're hoping that ridge is the top and we could see what we want to see. I don't know what those are. They're not Canadian geese, are they? I don't know. Alright, there's a little glacier. It's not really a glacier, but I don't know if it melts all the way. And looking that way is the Hurricane Ridge Road. You can see coming up the mountain in front of us. And there's Port Angeles in the distance, and the Strait of Juan de Fuca. So you can pick out the bay and the ships on it. It's like the strait is pretty much covered in clouds, so very pretty. So we're halfway, about almost, to the parking lot you could drive to from the west side, and we might go a little farther just to see if there's a view. But if we go back into the trees, we're just going to do that side from another hike, I think, because we're just tired today. And this is pretty neat. I don't think it can get any better than this. That's so wild how you see the road there on the other side. You just see the cut. You can't actually see the road, but you can tell there's a road there. Pretty neat. I'll show you the looking east and south when we get up. We're going to take a break and I think eat something here. I wish I had a tripod. I wonder if I can set this up somewhere. I'll see what I can figure out. Alright, I decided to get up in case it got cloudy, but now we're looking east and you can see the Deer Park Road we drove on the far mountain. That's where we came from. 3 miles. And that is looking toward Lake Cushman where the fire is. And that's looking straight south, and the trail goes around the left side of this mountain that I'm pointing at. And I think it goes back into the trees. We're gonna check it out briefly when we leave, maybe, just to see. But that's the heart of the Olympics in front of us. All right, we decided to go a little further after our nice break. So basically the peak in front of us, we go around, and that one, and the distance there, you can actually go on top of. So we're at least gonna try and make the saddle between them and see how we feel. But that's looking south again. So I think way in the distance in the middle, that's the Mount Townsend area, and we did that hike a few years ago. There's a cloud right above it, like touching the mountain basically. Okay, here comes Blue Magic. Look at the background. That's like swim area way over there. You can see the Dungeness spit through the clouds. That is way cool. And I'm hoping we're back in the trees soon. Olympic National Park is awesome. So much better than Mount Rainier almost, I say sometimes. Until you go to Mount Rainier and you realize how awesome that is. Alright, this is looking east, maybe a little north, and you can see the strait. And I think the San Juan Islands now. And what's interesting, we noticed, look at the pine cones and these tops of these trees. They're just covered in sap. It looks like ice. It's pretty neat. But we are going up still. Up, 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 and around. Wow. Yeah, this trail is way better than I thought. It's definitely getting steep again though. Alright, this is gonna get really neat, I think, as we go around this corner. Wow. What a view. I mean, the Deer Park campground is over there. Across the big valley. I don't know if well, that's not really a valley. I don't know what you call it, a ridge. And I have no idea. I feel like the big tall mountain in front of us with all the snow is Mount Olympus. And you hike to it from the Hoh rainforest on a 20-mile trail. Wow, this is pretty incredible. So if you go to the parking lot on the west side of this trail, Obstruction Point, I think it's called, parking lot, basically, there's a loop trail you can do to like 4 or 5 lakes. And I think that's one of them way down there in the distance, because you lose a lot of elevation to get to them. Might try that sometime. But I better put this away soon. Jeez. That is neat. I gotta get a picture with my camera, my phone. Alright, we're gonna turn around. We're just out of gas. We will come from the other side next time. And I was gonna walk up here off trail, but it's a long ways farther than I thought to look toward Port Angeles. So we're gonna head back this way. Back to the truck. Alright, I had to get one more video. So look in the middle of the picture, there's a lake. We might actually try and get to that lake. It would be fun on the next time we come out here. And then that might be Mount Olympus over there with all the snow on it. Because what I always forget is you hike in a long ways from Hoh River Ranger Station, and then you're already driving really far, so you're practically in the middle of the park by the time you get to the glacier on Mount Olympus. Well, maybe not the middle, but you're in it more than you realize. So Ho River would be somewhere that way on the other side of those mountains. But this is just beautiful. Hopefully you are all enjoying this. Trying to bring you something different all the time. But we are going to start heading back to the truck again. It's getting hot in the sun. Alright, we had an accident. And it's not what you think. So my bear canister safety thing came off. And I bent down and I hear this spray. And we start running. And it got all over my pants here. And my shirt. And we quit breathing while we were running away. Yeah, I didn't realize that would come off that easy. But now I know if a bear comes, it's really easy to pull this off. And I also thought it would totally discharge. It doesn't. There's still some in there. So that was our excitement for the day. And hopefully I dry soon. I don't know if it went through my pants because these are water resistant, I think. I don't know, but I didn't want to see if it did, so I poured water on me. All right, enough of that.
Okay, so I'm going to try to say this without laughing, but we had an accidental discharge of bear spray, and y'all saw the location.
Oh, it hurts.
He still hurts. So today I learned a lot of things. I learned that my first aid kit has a lot of dried out wipes in it, so I need to update my first aid kit. I also learned that you can Google bear spray on a penis and get so many results. So it happens, apparently. My condolences to all the guys out there. Anyway, so he got it on his shirt and his pants, so he's hiking now. Just in his underwear. We tried to rinse out the underwear as best we could. It's only supposed to burn for 30 to 45 minutes. It's probably been about 30 minutes.
And we are not wasting an SOS on this.
So I think in the future we'll be carrying spare clothes, maybe some soap, and that is my jacket he's wearing right now. So he's styling in his underwear, my jacket, and a backpack. Actually, he probably looks like any other PCT hiker. And with that, okay, pull myself together.
Usually pouring water on my pants was the worst thing to do before I took everything off.
It might have been.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. Alright, so we're walking normally again at a decent pace. The Jangles appear to have recovered. I think there's still some residual pain, but we'll be able to drive out of here. Alright, headed up hill, feeling the burn. Of course, Outback's probably feeling it more than I am. Whew.
Alright, we're on the final up. Oh. So now I've been through this trauma. I will say, besides breaking my ankle, this is probably the second most painful thing I've ever done to myself in my life. It was that bad. My stomach still burns a little. But yeah, don't ever do this. I'm never carrying bear spray again. If that had been in my eyes or face. Thing is, I didn't get the mist. I didn't get the cloud. I got the direct stream from, 1 inch away. There was no mist. It was a full-blown liquid when it hit me. It was not good. can't wait. And we brought cold drinks, so we have ice packs in the truck. I'm gonna put that by me just in case. But I'll be happy to get back. So here's my hiking pants. We're home. You could see where the spray hit, right in the crotch area. And then my shirt was hanging over a little, and it got on my shirt. But we're gonna try and salvage them, soak them, and wash them all by themselves. And I hate the smell. But we made it home.